Joining us now, Rebecca Hitchin from the Rape and Sexual Abuse Support Centre. Good morning to you, Rebecca.
Good morning.
Now, the crime is technically called revenge porn, but actually what seems to be happening here is young people, through no act of vengeance particularly, but they are sharing these pictures of each other. And the consequences for those whose pictures are being shared on the internet is absolutely shocking. But presumably in some of these cases, those pictures have been provided willingly and then abused in the sense of they are then being shared amongst people they didn't expect.
That's true. I mean, the impacts are really significant, but I think I would perhaps question the nature of it being willfully provided, because that sort of takes away from the levels of pressure and coercion that these young girls and women are under. And I say young girls and women because it is very gendered. It is the boys who are under pressure to get these images, to attain them, to share them.
For a bravado amongst their friends.
Exactly, to tie into this idea of masculinity and to prove their masculinity. And it's the young girls and women who are feeling that pressure, who are feeling that coercion, that harassment. Which is why I would just question that idea of it willingly being provided. What we've seen here isn't unusual. It's a daily occurrence. It's part of young people's everyday lived experience.
So what do you say to them then? How do we empower these youngsters to stand up against it?
I mean, sadly, I think it's a lot more difficult than just having a sort of stock statement that you can provide. And a lot of the work that we do is going into schools and talking to young people, talking to the young boys and young men and girls and young women about what's going on, and talking about consent, coercion, sex, relationships, healthy relationships, which is really, really important, because that's the way to tackle and challenge this behaviour.
I think one of the shocking things is, I mean, you know, we all know that once you put something on the internet, it stays on the internet. But it just seems so tragic in these cases that you can't just immediately just delete those pictures and get rid of them. And I suppose that's one of the things you have to explain to the youngsters is, once they've sent that picture, it can go anywhere, and you lose control of it, don't you? Well, Facebook responded to our investigation saying there's no place for this kind of content. We remove it when it's reported to us, while Instagram has, in their words, a zero tolerance for bullying and content that puts the safety of young people at risk.
Actually, a lot of people say, don't spoil anything for me. Yeah, it's changed now, where people are like, don't say anything. I wouldn't anyway. I'm sort of well trained in sort of keeping very stum about everything. It's almost like, what can I say? Oh no, that is okay. That bit's aired.
Now, it's a rather different character you play in Upstart Crow, where you're much cleaner,